Hello viewers, I'm Dr. Shormishta Bandhopadhyay, consultant ENT surgeon. I have a special interest in pediatric ENT and allergic diseases. The most common problem in which the pediatric patient, especially from the age group of 2 to 8 years, come to me, and they have been coming to me for the last 12 years, is allergy of the airway. Worldwide, 1 out of 6 individuals in the world has been suffering from this problem, and what is being predicted by 2020, 1 out of 2 would be affected. So how they present to us? Before we talk about this, we should know about the airway a little bit. Airway starts from the nostril, and through the nose it goes to the back of the nose. The region is called nasopharynx. Then it passes downwards where it is the back of the oral cavity called oropharynx. Then it comes to hypopharynx, and after that it divides into 2 narrow channels. The front is the windpipe, and at the back it is the footpipe. The windpipe has got vocal cords or the larynx in the upper part, which is the organ for production of voice, and this is also the inlet of the airway. From the larynx, the area is called trachea, and at one level it divides into 2, and ultimately after too many divisions it forms both the lungs. And the airway which I am talking about, it's also connected to the eyes through the nasolacrimal duct, through which the tears come into our nose, and it is also connected to our middle layer through the nasopharynx. So a patient of the allergic airway disease can present with sneezing, nasal discharge, nasal blockage, itchiness of the eyes, ear pain, dry cough, hoarseness of voice, laryngotracheobronchitis, and even asthma. So we term this disease nowadays as United Airway Disease. According to the chronicity of the disease, it can be termed as intermittent or persistent. The intermittent, where the symptoms are less than 4 days a week, or in at a stretch less than 28 days. If the symptoms are happening for more than 4 days a week or for more than 28 days, this is termed as persistent. And persistent allergic rhinitis is more likely to be linked with asthma. Initially, when we were practicing, 10 to 12 years back, the incidence of asthma in the allergic rhinitis patient was at the range of 20 to 40%. As the days progresses and as the pollution increases, nowadays in our practice and even some literature, we are seeing up to 70% population of allergic rhinitis can turn into asthma. So this is something we have to treat, and this is very easy to treat. We have to diagnose the disease first by means of history, clinical examination, and testing for allergy. We might require the help of nasal endoscopy and CT scan of the nose and paranasal sinuses. And the treatment is mostly by topical nasal steroid sprays. At this point, I want to comment that you don't need to be bothered about the steroid here, because this steroid doesn't get absorbed in the circulation. Along with that, we might require the help of antihistamines and leukotriene receptor antagonists. And if the patients are listening to us, and if they are avoiding the things which are allergic to them, with the help of topical nasal steroid and antihistamines and leukotriene receptor antagonist, this disease can be tackled very quickly, and the incidence of asthma and even the frequency of asthma in the already asthmatic patients can be reduced. Thank you all.